All right, welcome back to another episode of Random Ramblings, starring your random ramblers, Aspen Themes.
Yep.
Woo. It's been a while since we recorded. I'm gonna get back to it.
Yep. And as you may have noticed, we are on a new channel.
Yep.
That is, if you're an existing viewer already, you would recognize that we're on a new channel. But for newcomers, welcome.
Yep. And if you are a newcomer, I would highly recommend checking out the video that should definitely be posted by the time this goes live of our interview with Ryan over at Neuropod.
Yep. Go check that one out. We're really excited about that one.
Yeah. I'm giddy about that coming out actually, and I usually don't get like that type with anything.
Yep. And yeah, we're just gonna start building up the content on this new channel. Stay tuned for other stuff. And
hopefully more interviews down the road with other exciting people.
Yep.
To talk to as well.
Members of the planet Earth.
Yep. Yeah, do you get your membership card for Planet Earth? Renewed. But yeah, let's jump right into today's topic, which you probably see from the title: influencers.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy. The reason I thought I've had this one in the back burner a while, but figured it was worth talking about now because of the whole FaZe Clan thing. Did you hear about that?
Are you talking about the cryptocurrency that they promoted?
Yeah.
And there was kind of like a pump and dump scheme going on.
Yep, that is exactly what I'm talking about. So then that leads into the broader topic of obviously this isn't like much of a let's recount the things that happen in the news type of show, but I use it as kind of a jumping off, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that there's also another news story that's fairly recent that's very related to that. Well, not only influencer but crypto influencer.
Ooh.
But so basically, TikTok just banned the promotion of cryptocurrencies on TikTok.
Oh no, I didn't hear about that. Nice.
So, I think it's a good move, just because, like from what I've seen, like even on YouTube, most crypto influencers, basically they're just shilling some coin that doesn't necessarily have
any longevity to it.
Yeah, any substance to it. And I've seen the same thing when it comes to stock influencers, like general investing influencers on the platform. It's just, yeah, the format is way too short to have any nuanced conversation about like.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with
how to get into investing.
With the way the audience is there, like I wouldn't expect any sort of like meaningful. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like information, I guess.
Not to say that it couldn't happen, but
no. It's kind of like the same thing with like say Twitter and like meaningful conversations. Like yeah, it could happen, but like the platform seems like it's built specifically against that because of the short text, like reactionary kind of posting that's supposed to be like its main bread and butter.
Yeah, and I feel like most of TikTok is basically like abuse the algorithm and then get views, get likes, get followers from that.
Algorithm, get money.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a lot more blatant there. Yeah. Like, there's nothing discouraging clickbait like there would be on YouTube. Right. And then you can basically just like take a popular song on that's like that a lot of TikToks have and play it in the background. You could even play it like so imperceptibly quiet that it doesn't make a, you don't pick it up, but it helps the algorithm. So I don't know. And plus, I think the demographics are younger, I think.
How does copyright work on that in terms of like the music in there? You would think they'd be hit with a bunch of copyright strikes now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe they're just waiting for, because it took Twitch a while before they started going all crazy on them. So.
And this is just kind of speculation from what I've seen on Reddit. People are speculating that the move to ban cryptocurrencies is primarily because the CCP is trying to control the narrative around cryptocurrencies in general, at least for internally in the country, because they're wanting to create their own digital coin that kind of can be controlled by the CCP. That's the speculation. I think the reason that they stated makes sense, though. Young impressionable kids that could get scammed or make bad decisions.
Well, not to mention too, like that would come back on the platform eventually. Like it'd be like, Tom from Frankfort, Kentucky, suing, because his kid found some. Oh, it's promoted all over your platform.
So, could you give me more context on the FaZe Clan thing that happened? From what I understand, there were a few people that were kind of closely involved with the cryptocurrency, and they're probably more at fault here. And then there were some other influencers that basically promoted it without having known too much about it. Is that correct? At least that's what I got from their statements.
As far as I'm aware, so it was that the idea was like, oh, hey, donate to this crypto, and a portion of it goes to charity.
Yeah. Oh, it was called For the Kids.
Yeah. And so one of the person that actually, one of them got kicked out of the clan.
Yep.
That's a weird way to put it. But one of them got kicked out. Because I guess he was the one that like he dumped it like immediately. I guess he had a bunch in it. And so, which I mean, good move on them. But I don't know. I'm surprised that the FaZe Clan's still like as popular as they are after all these years.
Yeah.
It's weird because like I remember back in the Call of Duty, like the Modern Warfare 2 Black Ops 1 days of like every little like kid that was like, oh, I want to be in I want to be in that sniper montage.
Well, what do they do now? Fortnite and Apex?
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I haven't actually kept up with them, like in terms of like what their normal content is and years upon years.
Yeah, maybe what's that other game? The Team Fortress kind of game that I'm completely forgetting about with all the heroes.
Oh, Overwatch.
Overwatch, yeah. Yeah, FaZe Clan. They do seem to have some pretty skilled players from what I've seen.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that some of them do. It's just I was always more annoyed because like every like idiot would pretend to be it. Because like on Call of Duty, like you could just put your clan tag as anything. No one could stop you. So it's just like everyone trying to pretend they're like some sniper elite.
Oh yeah.
On top.
360 no scope.
Yeah, exactly. 720 inverted tomahawk throw across the map. But moving away a little bit from FaZe Clan, just to the idea of influencers in general. Like, what are your general thoughts on influencers? Because I'm definitely more cynical on the whole idea, but I mean, I could definitely see some positives on it, like a couple of them.
I think it's an emergent phenomenon that emerged because of kind of the things that we're coming up with on the internet now, like social networks are kind of in themselves an emergent phenomenon. I see a lot of value in them, but I also think that we're kind of figuring it out as we go, and like the speed of research into like the psychological effects of social media and influencers is probably not as fast as the pace of innovation from the tech side. And so we end up with these platforms that might have adverse effects on us, like on our brains, on social development, on maybe I'm loosely using terms that I have no idea about because I'm not in psychology, but like emotional intelligence or social intelligence, stuff like that. I think that these platforms have a huge impact on that. and kind of created influencers. And as long as the internet continues existing, I think influencers will continue existing in some form.
Right. Well, because the bread and butter of like content is either A, like the content itself, or B, the person behind it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't see either one of those going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, I mean, obviously some people are both, but
I think influencers are a natural progression from like movie stars from previous generations.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And rock stars and stuff too.
Yeah, rock stars, music stars in general.
Pop star.
Before that, we had like musicians and.
Are you saying it's all the Beatles' fault?
Well, no, I just think that this is an inherent property of like how socialization works, and we have to figure out how to cope with it at this stage, because things are continuing to speed up.
You even see it like to an extent with like in one area that it used to not be in the past that is now. Like you'll see people that say run a particular show or movie, you know what I mean, like directors and artists and yada yada. That before never have a following. Like you'd see their name in the credits, but like who actually stops and looks at the credits, right? And at most, you'd maybe know someone from like voice acting, or it's like okay, the actor is the same between those because usually they're probably the actor, but and then a little bit more as time went on, the voice actors, because sometimes you'd hear a similar voice, like oh hey, that sounds just like this person. Oh, he did play that. She did play that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you get even more and more people like oh hey, here's a random, here's a writer from that show. Yeah. Like what was it? Steamed Hams, right? Like he does that one that's one cromulent shot or whatever for his Twitter account.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
Hams,
so he'll post like a picture of an episode randomly of The Simpsons, and then like he'll tag like one of the artists on Twitter usually. That and the writer or whatever that wrote that, and it's like, could you imagine like it has a chance for those people. Sometimes those people actually retweet it or like it or whatever, and that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And like I saw someone do a fan art because I'm in like a Toe Jam and Earl community.
Yep.
But I saw someone do a fan art of Earthworm Jim, similar type of era of video games. And then I mentioned the creator of Earthworm Jim, Doug TenNapel.
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted like, "Oh, I think he'd love this, right?" And then he liked the tweet and he liked the thing. It's just like it's weird like that, right? Like imagine like even 50 years ago, like you drew something of like your favorite property, and then the actual person that creates it gets to see it. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Just I guess another example is like you see Mark Hamill interacting a lot with people on Twitter, and it's just so cool that Luke Skywalker, or the actor that played Luke Skywalker, is interacting with you.
Right.
Like I always get giddy when someone famous likes my reply or something.
Yeah, I can't say it's never been. I mean, I haven't had it happen much because usually I'm arguing with people instead of posting like positive stuff. But yeah, it is really cool when it happens. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it happened to an extent before. Like you'd have fan letters, but then it's like you also like. Like you don't know if the letter even makes it there. You don't know if they even read it or if it gets sent off to whatever. And then even if they do read it, are they gonna like? You have no idea because they didn't respond back to you, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like now, it's just crazy, So when it comes to stuff like that for influencers, like it is cool to have that connection. It's definitely not. I wouldn't say it's healthy all the time. Like it's nice as long as you keep like a healthy distance of it. It's like, oh, that's cool. Someone I respect for a certain craft they've done, whether it's videos or music or poems or arts or TV shows, video games, yada yada, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not like, oh my god, this thing like is the most important thing in my life. I don't know. But
yeah,
it's hard.
And the way I look at it, I think just to kind of generalize the concept of influencers, I think everyone that's on a social media platform is technically an influencer if they have a public audience. Even if even if they have 5 followers, they're an influencer. Their influence is not that great. Like they're fairly low impact, but there is non-zero impact.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
And I think the larger their impact, the larger the risk of harm.
So I guess, what would make an influencer then? In that, does it have to be like online? Because obviously, like we're not going to count like I wouldn't count like family, for example, as an influencer in that type of thing. Because otherwise, like or friends or people directly. I would have to think it'd have to be someone that you have a parasocial relationship with.
So, do you know that quote? I don't remember where the quote comes from, but it's basically you're the average of your 5 closest friends.
I've heard the quote before, yeah, and I mean, roughly, I don't think that's actually a bad idea. I wouldn't say it's exactly true, but I mean, yeah.
I think it's just like gravity. Every object in the universe has mass, and if something has mass, then it has some sort of gravitational pull. And so, like, the Earth is exerting a gravitational pull on the sun, just like the sun is exerting something on the Earth. Obviously, the magnitude of gravity exerted on the Earth by the sun is magnitudes more. But
Yeah.
but I think that analogy works well with like the ability of humans to influence other humans. Someone like Elon Musk, with 58 million followers on Twitter, has enormous influence on people, including me because I'm an Elon simp. But like, if he says something, then historically in the past it's been able to move the price of stocks and cryptocurrencies. Now, not so much. I think people are not as reactionary with his more recent tweets. So
Did Wario kill it?
well, I think people just got fatigued with the idea that his tweets should influence crypto, like the price of certain cryptocurrencies. So you see small spikes. Like whenever he talks about Doge, I check the price of Doge, and you'll see little tiny spikes, but it's not nearly as volatile as it used to be a few months ago.
Right. You gotta think too. People know more about it, so like the fact that like I'm sure a lot of the spikes initially was like people checking out like what is this thing, right, that he's talking about?
Yeah.
Or maybe they've heard about it, but they never actually like looked into it.
Yeah.
But now, like more and more people, like crypto's mainstream in the sense of people's consciousness, at least.
Yeah.
The general population's perception, but not people. I don't think a whole lot of people are getting into. Like, I mean, people. I don't know, whatever you know what I mean. Like in terms of the billions of people on the planet, like I don't think it's some crazy huge amount.
Well, I think people sensationalize it, and like there was huge positive market sentiment a few months ago. Like starting in January, December there was this huge bull run that ended in May. Bull run in investing terms just means like the market going up. But anyway,
you'd say it's bullish from your
bullish. Yeah.
I watched the video. I know.
But anyway, like now, there's negative sentiment about it, and so a lot of people that were really hyped about it are no longer hyped about it. And so like, well, we went off on a tangent there. I was basically talking about market sentiment and
dude, it's the tangent show.
like like there's a disconnect between market sentiment and the fundamentals of the asset. But okay, yeah, let's get off that tangent. That's not a productive one. But basically, like someone with Elon has huge influence. Someone with 200 followers, not so huge influence. But I think like even someone at that level has some non-zero influence, and
Right.
due to phenomena like the butterfly effect, even a small amount of influence has huge ripple effects over time.
Yeah, because of those type of things, it's hard to gauge because it's not even just like how many people you're influencing; it's the level of influence too.
Yeah.
Like if you're, like say someone like, I don't know, you get like Mark Hamill, right? Like a lot of people will look to Luke like, oh, this is my favorite. Star Wars is obviously a huge franchise.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. Like this means so much to me. Same thing with like Princess Leia. obviously she passed away, but like those type of things have like huge. Whereas maybe some other actors, even if they have like say similar followings, maybe they don't have as connecting to roles. Like I don't know, like if you were to take someone say like I don't know Robin Williams, right? Like he's especially with the way he went, like a lot of people connected with that.
Yeah.
To like a huge degree, whereas another actor maybe of similar success, I guess is the best way to put it. In terms of like financial success for movies and stuff, might have less. So I think that's another thing too that's important to look for in influencers is like even if their audience is like similar sizes, they could have vastly different effects, I guess, for less lack of a better word.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know, it's weird because it's like I don't know, like because for me, I try to keep at least in terms of like writers and yada yada, like artists and stuff. I usually don't worry about that stuff too much, and I always try to keep them back in my mind. Like, usually there's something stupid that like any person you can think of like thinks, like at least one or two things. I don't know. To me, like like the phrase like "don't meet your heroes," and I wouldn't necessarily 100% agree with that because there are a lot of cool people, but like, I guess don't idolize your heroes is probably the better way to put it.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's where the problem comes obviously with influencers is people take things like they take someone's word way too much when they shouldn't. They get just way too connected to an influencer.
Yeah. So there's
wrong with like a healthy relationship of like, oh, that's cool, like like I really like this artist on Twitter's work, and then you like their work, and it's like, oh, hey, maybe I'll buy some, like an art print from them or something, right? Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll share this work. Like that's all that stuff's fine, but then when you get like you don't want a case where it's like, oh, hey, this person's promoting some shitty mobile game from YouTube or whatever, right? Let me give it all my credit card information. I don't know, whatever, right? Like
yeah. I think there's multiple dimensions that we need to pay attention to here. One of the dimensions is just the absolute impact that someone has. So like follower count, subscriber count, that's one dimension.
Yeah.
Like absolute impact. I think another dimension is their personality, their ability to influence with their personality. Some people just have a more influential personality for lack of a better term. Maybe like entrepreneurial people, for example.
Right. Well, some people just have more charisma than others.
Charismatic people, yeah.
Yeah.
And then another dimension that's important is I guess riskiness. Like there are certain people that I think just kind of have a huge negative impact because they're an influencer. I think maybe like Ricegum is probably a good example.
Yeah.
Insert random YouTuber that is toxic.
Insert old-time YouTuber Leafy is here.
Yeah, Leafy's an example of a incredibly toxic YouTuber.
To a much lesser extent, I'd probably say the Paul brothers.
Yeah, they definitely have. Yep.
I mean, they have their moments. I wouldn't say they're nearly as bad. I don't think they're as toxic. It's mainly just like your standard, like, oh, look at me, I'm super rich, and here's my rich stuff kind of thing.
I think they're irresponsible with the power that they have.
I think that's a fair way to put it. It's not nearly as malicious as saying like those other two. Except for the forest one, but that's it's a different story.
Yeah. A question. Do you think that we should have more regulation around the influencer space? I know that there are some things that have happened recently, like I think maybe more strict regulation around sponsored content. I think you like On Instagram, for example, if it's sponsored content, you have to have something like #ad. On YouTube, you have to clearly disclose that it's sponsored. I think that goes back. I think that goes back a lot more to like traditional advertising, but yeah, I definitely think that there could be more regulation added, but I feel like that's probably a slippery slope. What are your thoughts there?
Okay, so like for me, yeah, it has to be. You have to be very specific in how you target something like that in terms of like, like what type of regulations. Because like you can't say just influencers in general.
Yeah.
Because like like that also is going to affect a bunch of small time whatever, or it's going to affect people that aren't really like a problem. So when it comes to advertisements, I think advertisements is a pretty good bar. For that type of thing, because it's like the people that aren't problems are already disclosing that this is an advertisement, like straight out the gate.
Yeah, by definition, they're not problems because of that.
Yeah, where I mean, even if the product is like not great, you know what I mean? Like even if they're just doing it for money, as long as it's clearly disclosed that hey, this is an advertisement, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, sometimes it gets annoying to see like the 50 millionth Raid Shadow Legend ad, but. It is what it is. Yeah. Part of the problem, I mean, because part of the problem you got to think too is like some people feel the need to take these type of things because of YouTube AdSense and stuff like that getting like slashed.
Yeah.
Due to some of the bad actors on the site, like causing problems. So, part of the problem is like the outside influencing them as opposed to like them themselves being, and that doesn't excuse like. Scummily doing like a pump and dump in terms of like crypto, but
yeah,
it definitely plays a role into it. But yeah, I mean, any ad like ever, I think should be easily disclosed.
Yeah,
like whether it's to be honest, I think it should be like that for like movies and stuff too. But maybe that's just me.
You mean like product placement?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of cheap to like. I don't know, like subtle like marketing, because I don't know, it feels weird to like we put like the little guy down in terms of like they have to do the stuff, but then like the big companies can get away with just
you know how Amazon has the X-ray feature? It's like a supplemental information that is available like on a phone while you're watching the movie.
I did,
or like on the screen. So basically, Amazon Prime Video, like mostly right now, it's used for like it'll show the names of the actors that are currently on screen. And basically you can have that open, or it'll have like trivia about the show. I wonder if that would be a good layer to insert disclaimers about ads, because I think that X-ray overlay, it doesn't make a lot of sense right now because you have to have another device open in order to consume that content. But I think once AR is more ubiquitous, you could easily have X-ray information displayed beside the screen or above the screen or something like that. So maybe once AR is the norm, maybe there could be some sort of universal platform where if you have any disclosures that you have to make about the video, then they could be made there, like sponsored content. I think it would be too immersion breaking to have it in the video itself, like in a movie, if there's product placement having a disclosure.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think more so like at the end of the movie, like credits. And I know most people don't like.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like people can get really sneaky with where they put the disclosure, which is part of the problem with influencers, but it's also a huge problem with traditional media. What's his face? What's it called? Last Week Tonight. I forget the name of the host.
What?
Last Week Tonight. It's an HBO show. I should remember the name of the host. Last Week Tonight. Oh, John Oliver. Have you ever seen John Oliver's show?
Like I've never gone on my way to see it. I've seen a clip or two online, but that's about it.
He recently made a video about how with traditional news channels. This is a huge problem right now. Where if they make a disclosure about sponsored content, they'll typically do it at the very end, and it'll be very subtle. And basically, there's a double standard because with YouTubers, it has to be very obvious and at the front. But traditional news gets away with this sort of thing because I guess they have more of a budget for lawyers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that if we want to universally regulate disclosures about ads, then it needs to be prominent in some way, and maybe not like baked into the video, but some layer on top of the video, like how YouTube videos begin. If like you have a checkbox on YouTube videos that says sponsored content, and then it shows up as an overlay.
Yeah, see, I think something like that's like pretty fine in terms of it. Yeah, because then you get some, what you were talking about earlier, where it's like, sneakily put it in, reminds me of, say, a particular like medication or substance or whatever, right? That's being advertised on TV, and then they go really quickly through all the side effects. Side effects mean, type of stuff like that. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You got to pause it and like rewind it just to hear like what all the terrible stuff is.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely feel like it's still very much the Wild West. Like, depending on how small the influencer is, they can get away with a lot. Like the bigger influencers have more scrutiny.
Which, I mean, part of it that's fair because they have a bigger impact.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like you could make the same argument of like, I technically am in like, and I'd say it'd have to be a parasocial before I'd consider an influencer, but like obviously like I influence to some extent the people around me.
Yeah. And
so if I were like I don't know, my mother recently, like when we went to go get our shots, like it's like, oh hey, which one? Or my dad too. It's like, hey, which one you want to take, right? Because they hadn't really been paying attention to stuff too much. I was like, yeah. This one, right? Because it has the highest efficiency or whatever the word. Whatever. It's like 95% effective, right? As opposed to some of the other ones which had less. And so something like that would, for example, influencer. But obviously, I wouldn't consider it the same level. And even if I say I got it wrong, it definitely isn't the same level of harm that would be done. Not to say that's harmful, though. I'm just saying, like, if I were to, like, if I point them to like a crypto thing for some reason.
Well, this reminds me of the trolley problem, which is why I think that maybe we need something regulation that's more universal. Are you familiar with the trolley problem?
Yeah, let the either let it keep going, or like switch the track and it like hurts other people type of deal.
Yeah, like you're operating, just for the viewers. You're operating a track switching thing for like a trolley, and on one, like after the trolley forks, after the tracks fork, and you have like the two sides that you have to choose between. One of the sides has, let's say, one person tied to the rails that's going to die if the trolley runs over them. And then on the other side, there's 5 people. And then by default, let's say it's pointed at the 5 people. And you have to decide whether or not to just let it kill those 5 people, or do you switch the track and kill the one person instead? And I think there's other ways to set up the experiment, but that's the basic idea of it. I think that's basically points out that well, there's different like ethical ways to approach this, different philosophies to use. Either way, you're harming someone. So either you're harming a lot of people, or you're harming a fewer number of people.
Well, I would say, I guess to talk about that, my personal idea on that particular hypothetical is that I think it's, I mean, yeah, you could affect a change, and that's something to consider, but at the same time, you're not the one that set up the scenario in that way, so I think it's unfair to put, like, maybe, I wouldn't say a little bit of blame, but I'd say, like, there's something to be said there, like, that you could have, like, ideally made it better.
Yeah.
Situation, but at the same time, like, you're also, if you like switch the track, you're actively taking participation, and this person is dead because of you, whereas opposed to the other people, I wouldn't say that they're dead because of you, they're dead because of whatever circumstances got them there.
Yeah.
Type of deal, right?
Yeah. I just think maybe we should think about relative harm more than absolute harm. So like, if an influencer with 1 million followers convinces 1% of their audience to, buy into their scam, then that's. I feel like it would be worse if someone that had like a smaller circle. Well, not absolutely worse, but I think it's a separate case that this should also be treated as equally bad. If someone with a smaller circle can influence 2/3 of their circle to do something harmful,
Yeah.
like if someone that has a circle of 10 friends convinces 6 of them to do something harmful, I think that's an equally bad case, relatively speaking. I don't. Honestly, thinking through that, I don't know if I buy my own argument, but my gut feeling says that that's the right way to think about it.
I don't know. See, the problem I feel like is like not necessarily that's bad to think like those are also like similar levels of bad.
Yeah.
It's more so that like how do you regulate like that little bit of like what that person's doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Specifically without like a surveillance economy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's way too like small scale to handle, which sucks obviously, but like there's only so much we can do.
So
with the way that we have the world set up, without getting like super draconian with how we're.
So where do you draw the line? There's the 80-20 rule, which might be a good rule of thumb. Like try to get 80% coverage.
When it comes to the, wherever it is, it has to be arbitrary, just by nature. Like whatever. I guess.
Well, not necessarily. Like there's an optimal stopping problem. Like there are mathematical ways to draw a non-arbitrary line.
Well, because the problem for me is like you're never gonna get anyone, or sorry, anyone. You're never gonna stop anyone. You're never gonna stop everyone. Is rather what I meant to say. So to me, like for that is a little bit arbitrary. Like you can have non-arbitrary. For example, like say you choose like this has to have this many subs because YouTube doesn't partner with anyone with less amount of subs.
Yeah,
you can get like a fair bit of people there. Even if it's not everyone, you can get like. Pretty much, all the major influencers. Well, but at the same time, even drawing the line there, like that'd still be way too many people to keep track of.
Well, what about a percentile of the user base of a platform? Like cut off at a certain percentile.
Wait, are we talking about like in terms?
Maybe we're trying to over-engineer this. Like maybe there isn't a general threshold that works for every single platform, but I feel like there should be, because right now all the platforms are unregulated and it's causing harm.
Okay, what you could do is set up the rule and then do like, and obviously this is a flawed system as well, but it's the system we have for other things in terms of like, hey, report people that do this, and then we'll take a look at it, as we can.
Yeah.
Type of deal. And obviously they'd have some incentive to focus on those reports as opposed to others, because those reports could get their ass in legal trouble. So
yeah,
as opposed to like other ones, which not so much. Like if someone, if you report someone for like harassing behavior and all they're doing is like going on your post and like, oh, you suck, like Twitter, is gonna want to remove that, but like at the same time, like they're gonna want to remove like like illegal content way more, because like that's at the end of the day the government's not going to care like that someone called someone a meanie face online, but they're absolutely going to care someone's like using your website for sex trafficking.
Let's pretend that we're policymakers and let's go through some examples like the Paul brothers. Do you think they should be regulated more?
Yes.
In what way?
I think they're way too big in terms of to just ignore them in terms of or regulate more than what they already have.
Yeah, like if we were to regulate them more, in what way would they be regulated? Because I know that one thing that they do that's not okay is from a United States law perspective, and I think Nerd City went into this in depth. basically the amount of time from a video, like percentage-wise from a video that they dedicate to ads that are targeted towards children, is way higher than the limit by law, and they get away from it. They get away with it because it's not regulated like the TV industry.
Yeah. So for me, I would think that unless the channel is specifically for children, I don't think it's fair to have child-centric ads.
Well, the thing is, they kind of skirt around that limitation because, like their target audience is obviously kids, but then they throw in like non-family friendly stuff.
Well, that's what.
Like
content is kids, though,
if they're asked about it, they will not admit that they're targeting kids, but they obviously are.
Well, that's what I mean, though. So I don't think they should be allowed to do kid advertisements unless they commit to saying, yes, we're advertising, like this is a kid video, right?
Yeah.
Like this, and not to say that you have to go completely like kid channel, right? Because you can do it by video. Like, was this video made for kids or was it not?
Yeah.
You can still, like, I'd say the specific, and I mean that would cause problems too because of people lying and stuff. But I feel like you'd have to specifically market it as kids because I feel like that's when it's fair. Because like, okay, a bunch of ads get removed from the pool of available ads when you put his children's content, right?
Well, I'm not even worried about like YouTube inserted ads. I'm worried about the fact that like they're advertising merch to children in a very predatory way.
Oh, you mean just like
their own merch, first party merch?
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's a bit more of an issue. Yeah,
not talking about YouTube specific guidelines and stuff, like in general, like their online presence across all platforms.
I thought you meant them. Well, because they're YouTubers, so I thought you meant like ads they took from other people. I didn't realize you meant the ads like in terms of their own merch, like shirts and stuff.
Yeah, like 30% of their videos are like promoting their merch, whereas I think the regulations stipulate less than 5% or something like that.
Well, I mean, if there's a stipulation in place for that type of thing, I mean, that seems like a pretty easy case to be like, hey, step in type of thing, right?
Yeah, but that hasn't happened yet, at least from the government perspective. I don't know if the government should be the one regulating it. I think so. Well, just like they would regulate any other infraction.
Was it FTC?
FTC, right? Yeah.
Isn't that their deal? Yeah.
Or is it FTC or FCC? I think it's FTC. I could be wrong.
Right?
Federal Communications Commission.
No, is it? Or no, wait.
FCC. FCC is what you get in trouble with, I think.
It's for like what you say, right?
Yeah. Like if you curse on TV.
Whereas like advertisements would be like the Trade Commission thing.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, we're not politicians here on the Random Ramblings cast.
Yeah, and that's basically part of the show. We're not experts in these fields, so we just kind of ramble about them. And then we'll bring in guests that are subject area experts to hopefully have a more authoritative podcast episode sometimes.
You know what we could have, like, you said it earlier because you were on a tangent, right? And like I feel like that works well with it. Just completely a side note to like everything we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, God, what was it? I just had a name for it too, like where we could have done like the double T for the name, like
treacherous tangents. I don't know.
That's like a tangent tirades.
Tangent tirades, I like that.
But yeah, if you can't tell people at home that might be listening to this or wherever you're listening to it from, I'm a fan of the alliteration.
Tangent time.
Yeah, tangent time. Oh, tangent time. That's way better. That's way better. All right. You win this round now.
Are we gonna throw in a sound effect? Choo 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 choo. Tangent time.
I'll have to ask to come up with a fake
air horns.
For it,
Make it really obnoxious. No, let's not do that. Tangent time. Oh, this science educator I watch called Joe Scott, he has tangent cam. He'll just like turn to another camera during his video and go off on a tangent and then turn back to his main camera.
Oh, nice. See, I feel like I could never do that because I don't really know when I'm going off on a tangent until like I'm already partway through it.
Well, his is scripted, completely scripted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
So scripted tangents.
What the hell are we talking about?
By the way, Random Ramblings is completely scripted. We're reading from a script right now.
Yeah, definitely script.
Definitely.
Every awkward pause.
We're just bad at reading.
Yeah. Every space in between, whatever. Every drink I take in between while Espa's talking.
Yep.
Scripted.
Every time my dog, who's on my lap right now, breathes, scripted.
Yeah, breathe
for the mic, Lexi. Breathe for the mic,
dude. Can I complain about that real quick?
What?
I've been doing this a lot recently, and I don't know why I keep doing it. Right, I mix words together by accident, and I never used to do that. Like, at least not to a serious extent. But like the past couple months, I've been doing it. Like I've multiple times, like in a week.
Yeah.
For example, we're just right there. I was going to say scripted breaths, but I said breathed.
I think we're out of practice because we've taken a little bit of a hiatus. But
no, I don't even in ramblings. I mean like in my I'll play video games and I'll say things.
I've stumbled over my words so many times in this episode alone, and it sounds like I'm high, but I'm not. I'm sober.
Yeah. Boy, you're sober? That's my favorite Tool song.
What?
Yeah,
that's the name of a song.
Yeah, it's a song from the band Tool. Why can't we not be sober?
Oh, you're never gonna give me up. That's my favorite song.
Oh yeah. Through Sandstorm. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just say this, and we'll go back to what the hell we were actually talking about.
Yeah.
But I actually really like that song, like a lot.
Never gonna give you up.
Yeah, well, both actually.
Oh. Sandstorm.
I like Druid Sandstorm more, but Never Gonna Give You Up is pretty good.
Yeah, I like the lyrics. I can actually probably sing the whole thing.
Yeah. Same. Whereas, like, I don't know, like, say All Star, somebody wants to, like, I do like that song too, and I would sing along, but like, it's a little bit more memey to me, like in my mind. Never Gonna Give You Up. Whereas Never Gonna Give You Up, like, before, like, I knew a little bit about Rick rolling, like, by the time I'd heard it, but like, it wasn't really like I've only been Rick rolled like once or twice at that point.
Yeah.
Whereas the song, like, I legitimately just like the song. A little bit different. Whereas, like, All Star, like, you can't escape the Shrek part of it because wasn't it made for that movie?
Well, the song. Well, yeah. There's that song, and then there's "Then I Saw Her Face."
Well, I'm a believer.
I'm a believer. That. Yeah, and then I actually like some other Smash Mouth songs that aren't in Shrek.
Yeah. Walking on the Sun. Actually,
I can't remember any.
Walking on the Sun.
Oh yeah.
My favorite Smash Mouth song for sure.
But I do like. I think I'm a Believer is my favorite song by Smash Mouth, and then All Star is my second favorite.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
you're wrong with
that. Have you ever gotten stick bugged?
Yeah, a couple of times. I never liked that meme, to be honest.
I stick bugged someone at work today. Zoomer Rickroll.
Oh boy. Anyway, influencers. Yeah, I don't think you'd have to go definitely case by case basis with people.
Yeah.
I think it'd have to be like the more egregious ones would have to be hit.
I guess we can like list off all the influencers we don't like and create future beef.
Yeah, right.
Ricegum.
I don't know. I don't really have a lot of issues with it. Like, I mean, there's just the vague ones of like, oh, the Logan, and Jake Paul,
Chris Brown.
Well,
for his domestic abuse. Every 2 years.
If we're gonna go past like internet people, then yeah, absolutely. I have plenty. Like,
well, I tend to generalize the term influencer. I consider Mozart an influencer. I consider Gandhi an influencer. I don't know.
Yeah, to me, I feel like it has to have like a parasocial relationship. I feel like online, in terms of like, just because that's when the term was invented.
Maybe. I mean, well, I guess you could argue that a parasocial relationship is a prerequisite for someone being an influencer. Maybe. I
In
mean,
terms of how we use it, like in terms of like how the public at large uses it and stuff.
I think
'Cause,
that's just a phenomenon of influencers on the internet, like a property of internet-based influencers. If we want to, maybe we can define an influencer as strictly an internet-based thing.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You could, I guess, but to me, like, I feel like the artists and stuff count as that as well in terms of like, because a lot of people have a parasocial relationship with, like, say, Katy Perry or Lady Gaga, especially like something for like Lady Gaga because she has a specific name for her fan base, like Little Monsters or something.
I'm sure people had parasocial relationships with like Greek philosophers that would stand in the square and talk.
Yeah, I'd be more.
Or Jesus. Jesus had parasocial relationships with his followers. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know him, man. I wasn't invited. About you in the comments, if anyone's listening, what's your thoughts on what makes a relationship or what makes something an influencer? Like,
yeah,
I mean, we could be just lazy and look it up, but.
Look up the Webster definition for influencer.
Let's look. I want to see what it says.
Someone who influences
another. Marketing: a person with the ability to influence potential buyers of a product or service by promoting or recommending the items on social media.
Oh, we haven't even explored that aspect of it. That influencer would specifically be people that marketing, like companies and products, use for marketing purposes. Like it's an alternative to ads.
That's what I've always thought of it to be fair, just because of the simple fact that, like, you know, because like, what are you influencing? You're influencing like, you know, for example, say an influencer for like, you know, like certain gaming companies have influencers, right? In terms of like GTA or like, Fallout or Hitman or whatever, right? And then they get exclusive merch.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they promote the product type of thing, right?
Yeah.
I know one of the games I play, for example, it's a free game called Vigor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free looter shooter type game, but they have like partners in the game, and these partners get special access to the updates ahead of time, so they can make videos on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about, like, you know, if they're allowed to be super negative about whatever, right? But then it's like I've almost like not necessarily an unspoken rule about it, but like it's kind of an uneasy relationship when it comes to those type of things, because like you expect them to be, you know, same thing with like, say, journalists or whatever, right? They get special perks for reporting on something, and since, you know, like it's hard for, I would say it's hard to take someone as more objective in their review, and obviously not like everyone's subjective to a degree, but
Yep. I think Marquez Brownlee from MKBHD, he's talked about that sort of conundrum a lot, where he gets early access to products like phones, and he has to kind of tread a very careful line where he never accepts money for a product, and he also has to deal with people that don't believe that he's unbiased about products. But generally, like he definitely, like, you know, says negative stuff about products all the time. So I tend to believe that he's unbiased about them. But obviously, you know, for a lot of YouTubers like that promote or that talk about products specifically, you know, it's definitely not a good look most of the time.
Well, and you know what's important about those type of things is that they're upfront about the fact that this is like whatever, because so that you and I can make our decision, you know.
Yeah, upfront about the terms of the agreement.
Right. In terms of like, hey, I got this from this person. I didn't get money for this, but I did get this. Because some people will say, I didn't get money for this, right? But then they'll leave out the part, or they'll like downplay the part of like
they got it for free.
Yeah.
You
know what I mean? It makes a different connotation with it. You know, and to me, I feel like a similar thing. Like, say, for example, and this isn't like an influencer thing, but like, say, a PlayStation Plus I have, right? And then I get a game free for the month, right? And I try it out and I kind of like it. Or like, say, if I try GameFly and it's rented as opposed to like buying out, like I'm like, okay, like hey, if I like this game, but maybe I wouldn't like it as much at full price type of deal.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I try to factor that type of thing in when I'm thinking. I mean, obviously, I'm not doing reviews of games, but like, kind of. So, do you get the idea of like kind of what that was connected to?
Yeah, like affiliate marketing, referrals, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You know, it's so that we could all like so that the audience can know and be able to decide, like, whether to take this person's word or not. Or the very least, like, okay, hey, maybe they are telling the truth, but maybe like they might think it's cool just because they got it for free. Like maybe they wouldn't be as excited if they had to pay full price. Type of deal.
Yeah. Yeah. In general, what do you think about affiliate marketing? Since we're talking about the topic, basically, where you get a commission for promoting a product, like let's say you have a YouTube video about a product, and then you have an Amazon affiliate link where you get commission for talking about it.
I think as long as you're completely transparent that it's an affiliate thing,
yeah,
I'm fine with it. Because to me, like, for example, like that doesn't sound any different from to me than, like, say I paid you money to go put up flyers around town.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I feel like is what it's like. Or, paying you for any sort of, like, hey, do this work for me.
And by law they're supposed to disclose that it's an affiliate link.
Right. But then I feel like some people do kind of downplay the affiliate, like, oh, check out, this is a really cool, I'll spend like 10 minutes on this really cool product, try it out, it's great, and then they'll be like, click my link, and it's an affiliate link, and then it's like they said it's affiliate for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And not focus on the fact that, like, I feel like when you're doing reviews, like, that should be in the review itself, not like as a side note at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be like, oh, hey, before I get to this review, like, know that this is an affiliate thing.
Yeah.
And that might be like a little bit annoying, but it's like, I think too with those people, they probably have the item sooner because either the company probably sends them out ahead of time. At least a lot of times they do.
Well, I think with affiliate links, I mean, I'm more specifically referring to, like, someone buys the product on Amazon and reviews it, and then puts a link that's an affiliate link that gives them commission.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like they sent it to the person and then, like, they set up an affiliate link after the fact. Like,
yeah,
it's a free product, and
I vaguely know some marketing concepts because it's useful for, like, trying to build YouTube channels and stuff, but I don't know the specific terms because there's different types of campaigns. Yeah. There's like where they pay you and they tell you exactly what to say.
There's Call of Duty campaigns.
Yeah.
Anyway, that brought that to a halt. Anyway. So if it's a case like that where they paid their own money, you're saying, in terms of, like, what might be my thoughts on if they paid their own money for it to begin with?
Yeah, basically. Well, I think the problem there is that they're still motivated to give a positive review because a positive review would result in more conversions.
Right, I would agree, but at the same time too, I think it's fair to say that, like, I'd be less skeptical of a review of that. I'd still be skeptical to a degree, but I'd be less skeptical if I got the product for free.
Yeah. Less skeptical or more skeptical if they got it for free?
Or no, more skeptical. More skeptical if free, less skeptical if not.
Yeah.
The more, like, shit they get back from it, the more skeptical I am, which I think is fair.
Yep.
But as long as they disclose that type of thing, right? I think it's fair. Like, if someone wants to be a paid shill, like, as long as I know that they're a paid shill, like, I don't care. Do your thing.
Yep. Yep. Elon Musk pays me Dogecoin.
Yeah, right.
No, I wish.
Yeah, this let's just throw in a quick 2-second disclaimer at the end of the episode that this whole episode was paid by Elon and just not whole episode rallying.
Speaking of influencers and marketing and sponsorships, we could totally use a sponsorship or an affiliate link that I actually have. Completely unrelated to the topic.
Well, because you have it, didn't you have it for Esper or whatever?
Yeah.
Allowed to use it?
Should we sell out? Yeah, I told them about the podcast channel. Not specifically Random Ramblings, the new one, but in general.
So what type of thing is it?
If you have a face that's not very clear and you would like to have a clear face, you should totally check out this link that I'm going to put in the description. It's Tiege Hanley. Tiege Hanley is uncomplicated skincare for men. That's actually their tagline that I memorized. Whoops.
Nice.
But I use it every day. They have a cleansing cream Are we actually doing this, or is this ironic? They have a cleansing cream. They have an exfoliating cream. They have moisturizing cream.
Were you using it before before you got the?
Yeah, I was using. I was using it before for like several months before, and
okay,
like
so, to me, like stuff like that is fair.
Yeah.
Fair game, absolutely.
And like I randomly tweeted like, "Oh, I love this product. I wish I was sponsored by them." And then they DM'd me, "Hey, you want to be sponsored?"
I don't. Is it going to be tacky to like we made a whole episode about influencers?
But I mean, if you want to buy it and forget it thing, they send you a box every month, and then like when you're showering, you can just put on the wash cream, and then wash it off, and then put on the exfoliating cream twice a week. Wash it off, and then put on your moisturizing out after you get out of the shower. Like it's super easy, and like I think my face has cleared up a bit. It's also gained a lot of weight, which is a separate topic.
Ooh. Yeah, I used to use a couple different products back when I was younger, obviously, because like hormones, teenage.
Yeah.
Problem, but I don't really run into that problem too much anymore. Like I usually get, I don't know, probably like I said every couple days or so, but it's just like one, and then it's like there for a few days and gone. Like I don't get the pizza face like I used to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty simple. It's just I have a 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and men's body wash. And then I got Tiege Hanley.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the sponsor segment.
Are you actually going to keep it?
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is halfway ironic, but because we're talking about influencers, but I mean, I'll throw the link there.
But the fact that like, we're talking about influencers and then we talk shit about them
this is definitely this is definitely an influencer link. So take what we've talked about in this episode and use your own judgment as to whether or not you trust me enough to.
Take what he talked about. I haven't used the product, so I can't comment on the quality of it. But if the fact that you've used it in the past before, and like to the point where you wanted to reach out for a thing.
This is the most half-assed sponsorship segment, but it's also honest, very honest.
Well, see, that's what
maybe
I like.
Too honest.
I don't like the sponsorship. Sponsorship.
Sponsorship.
Well, because again, I mixed the word sponsorship and then I mixed the word segment, so I said sponsorship. But I don't mind the ones where you're allowed to like say what you actually want. Obviously, there's some points that they want you to hit on. Like, I understand that. Yeah. But I don't like the ones that, like, it's very clearly, like, a pre-scripted entire ad read.
Yep.
That you hear the same one in every single, like, oh, try honey or try whatever. Like, I don't know.
That's espme.me/Tiege. espme.me/Tiege.
I'd rather it be that than like the terrible mobile ad. You know what I mean?
You can also get to it through mddl.link/Tiege because multi sponsorship. Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, buy it twice. Buy it once from each link.
No, they both point to the same link, so that would be pointless.
I'll buy it twice anyway because I'm doing twice. See, because that's the thing too. Like, I guess to talk about like, 'cause I know a certain other podcast did. I think it was Buzzes who did like a design for his, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know Dallas did one as well. For anyone that's wondering, Dallas is the editor and also a music guy.
Yep.
So
Yep.
You probably see it in the intro or outro or both, where it says music by Mac2 Salad. So
yep.
Shout out to that guy.
Shout out to that guy.
Pretty cool. He's Canadian though, so he's not that cool. But.
Yeah, my only complaint is he won't let me pay him in crypto.
Well, it's like, how am I going to get Tim Hortons with crypto? What was...
Can't buy maple syrup with Oh no, our Canadian listeners are going to get upset at us for making fun of Canadians. I take that back. Canadians are amazing. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Except the French ones.
I'll stand by Canadians, but I will not stand by Canadians. They seem to be not to be stereotypical, but there's something about that group.
No, I think maybe I'm too used to making fun of my friends who are Canadians, in like a
Yeah.
playful way. Maybe I shouldn't do that publicly on a YouTube channel, so I apologize for making fun of Canadians.
A few Canadian friends from because like the way I like when I play video games, I'm usually up pretty late.
Yeah.
So like, for some reason, a bunch of Canadians and Australians seem to be on quite a bit from what I've noticed.
Yeah.
There are a few friends of both categories. Obviously, New Zealand as well, a couple from there. But yeah, so it's weird. I don't know. I'm friends with a few of them. I know one's from. I'm not really like friends with him. I'm like PlayStation friends with him, but I'm not like friends with him.
As someone who probably shares common ancestry because we're probably both from Britain, I feel like it's kind of fair game, but I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like the Scottish make fun of the Brits and vice versa.
Yeah.
That whole island makes fun of each other because, like, they have a fun little joking rivalry. I feel like that same way with Brits, in the sense of like I don't know, or even the Canadians too, because like Canadians actually a good example because usually my friend, like one of his retorts is usually like, "We burned down your White House twice," which funny, but
and we destroyed their tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
we got a little problematic there, maybe.
I think it's fair game.
Cancelled.
Now, Dallas, you can put an editor's note if you want to or don't want to, but on the scale of 1 to 10, how offended you were.
Yeah, rip into us.
Yeah, make fun. Yeah, you
represent all of Canada.
Insert a 5-minute rant of you. No, I'm just kidding. What was the point of bringing?
Tim Hortons item tier list.
I remember the point of bringing them up. It's like, okay, so like they have like designs that I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like, I usually don't like buying things that are just like logos usually, unless I think the logo is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know there was a certain other podcast that we won't mention that was going to do merch or whatever, and it's just like I can't see myself ever wearing that type of deal.
I think when it comes to YouTuber merch, unless it's someone really famous, I tend to just get stuff that doesn't have identification of who it is, like maybe a catchphrase, like I wear that "Trying My Best" shirt, which is Jarvis Johnson merch.
Yeah, I guess a good example we could pull out is say Jacksfilms, right? Like, because he does like say the Yai shirt, and it kind of looks cool. I like the colors on it, but like I would never wear like a Yai shirt out in public.
Personally, he passes the threshold for me where I would, just because I'm like excited to be a part of the Jacksfilms community.
I'm excited to be a fan. He influences me.
Which shows that even we are susceptible to this stuff, like in our mid-20s.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't say I'm not. I used to be less so. I know what's a good example. My favorite band being like Green Day, but like I never wasn't like, oh my god, yeah, whatever, right? Like anytime I I went to a concert, like it was really cool, but like it wasn't like I was losing my stuff. Or like even Five Finger Death Punch, right? Which I would say was my second favorite band. And
yeah,
those two might sound a bit weird, Green Day and Five Finger Death Punch, but whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I saw a show for him once, and then as we were leaving, we saw one of the members, Zoltan, actually, going back to his bus.
That's a Hungarian name.
Zoltan Open the Sky. I don't remember his last name. I don't know their last names. I only know like the lead singer's last name, which is Ivan Moody. But because I usually like actors too, I don't really know their names too well. But anyway, tangent. The show aside, what is it? Tangent talk or whatever. Aside.
I think we're like 4 tangents deep now.
But anyway, that aside, we saw him, and then we were like, oh hey, like my dad and I were like, hey, good show.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, he gave like a acknowledging like nod and like wave, I think, and then walked into it, like, because I didn't want to be that guy that was like, I mean, I was like 14, 15 or whatever at the time, right? It was the Wrong Side of Heaven, Righteous Side of Hell, a Volume 1 tour for anyone that's wondering. But yeah, I didn't want to be that guy like, oh, I can't forget your autograph. Like obviously, like he just finished the show, he's probably tired or whatever, right? And like wants to get back, relax, or whatever.
Yeah.
Not to say like it's unfair to ask him for that, but it's just like, obviously it looked like he had somewhere he was going to, so it's like,
Yeah.
Just a quick acknowledgement of like, hey, that was a good show, you know, like that was pretty cool, and then like move on away.
Yeah, I guess that's an aspect of influencers that we didn't talk about, but I think that's mostly because that's probably something we more associate with the term celebrity, like the fans that they have to deal with, where fans harass them and want to, get selfies or autographs or whatever. Oh,
Right. Well, it'd definitely be tough for some influencers. Like you get an example of people like coming to people's houses.
Oh yeah, people just showed up at Justin Bieber's house recently. There's a video about that.
Which, by the way, like I mean, I'm sure anyone I would hope most people listening to this would realize that's like dumb to do. But don't show up to people's houses ever, like uninvited.
Yep.
I don't, just ever.
Never do that. Yep.
Not even just influencer. I mean, influencers especially, because it's like I don't care how much you think you're friends with them or whatever. Like,
yep. H3H3 literally moved houses because of that.
Unless you're Liam Neeson trying to get back your daughter from like someone that took it, like don't go to someone's random. I've never even seen the movie, but
that's a good movie. Taken. Yeah.
Taken again. Taken a third time.
Well, I didn't watch those ones.
I didn't watch any of them, but yeah. What was the point of that? That's the name of the episode. What was the point of
Yeah. Oh man, there's still so much that we haven't explored about influencers. Now that I think about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we could always revisit this topic.
Or finish it.
Or finish it. Yeah, we could Mortal Kombat finish it. Influencers. Yeah, that's a thing.
So yeah, people have to deal with the dark side of well, okay. So let's talk about parasocial relationships since we're on the topic, because I feel like there's a good side to it and a bad side. The bad side is obvious, like people showing up at your house.
You get like people that get way too attached to your stuff, and they get like they think they're because I saw you in a particular like show or like whatever, right? I think I know who you are in real life, and I feel like I built up that friendship with you because like shared a lot of moments with you. But the thing is, you haven't shared moments with me.
Yep.
Because you've only been seeing me through a screen, like, and I've never seen anything from you. Maybe like a comment somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So like it's just like it's completely one-sided built up relationship. So some of the more starstruck people like don't understand, and you get that type of thing too with like celebrities. Like for example, you'll get like pop stars, right? Or even like say K-pop, where it's like, and you can look at any boy band really, where it's like like they go crazy over it, and it's just because they have this like built up like who this person is and yada yada. And it's like it's just completely one-sided.
Okay.
And a lot of times it's based on like not even who the person is, right? Because people generally put on some sort of. I mean, people do it anyway. We've talked about it before in the past, like persona, the mask, like for different social situations. But like they'll put it on, especially for like internet content or like, like music or whatever, right? Like you're presenting almost always like a different version of yourself than what's actually yourself. Now for this, I'm usually like this is pretty close to what I actually am.
Mm-hmm.
There still is some variance to it, whereas like other people, like there's like a huge variance to it.
If you what do you think about like if you meet or if you recognize a celebrity or an influencer in public, do you think it would be off limits to ask them for a selfie? I generally think that would be off limits unless they were at a specific event where they were already like dressed up and not feeling self-conscious about their appearance and all that stuff. Like if you randomly meet someone, do you think that would be off limits asking for a selfie?
At first I'd probably okay, so I think it's fair for like the certain way I would probably ask to be asked would be like, hey, would it be okay to have a selfie? It's okay if you say no.
Yeah.
Like I would throw in that caveat immediately in that sentence.
Oh, I think that's pretty reasonable.
It's like
Yeah.
Are you this person? And then it's like, because it's like, okay, like, hey, if you got somewhere to be or whatever, right? Or like, you don't feel like doing it, that's fair, understandable. But like,
probably at least drop a compliment or two, like tell them you like their stuff or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm getting a picture with you, I mean, I would actually, enjoy yourself. Like, I wouldn't grab a random picture with like just a random. I don't know. Like, here's an actor.
Mel Gibson. Example of a bad actor. I mean, well, good actor, but bad person.
Like I would never get a picture with like Chris Brown.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like
Fuck Chris Brown.
Yeah. Gibson, I might just because he's the crazy type of like.
No, I wouldn't because he's anti-Semitic.
No, I mean he's bad. Like he's not a good guy, like at all, like not even remotely. But like he's so far down the path of like fucking insane. Like
Oh,
it might be funny just like for a thing. I don't know. That's just me.
for the irony,
Yeah, a bit.
maybe.
You know what I mean? Like
I just think that people wouldn't interpret it as irony.
Well, I mean, that's the difference between you and I, right? Like I wouldn't give a shit.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, interpret it as.
But yeah, let's talk about another aspect of parasocial relationships, which is simping. What do you think about the simp economy?
The economy's looking pretty good.
Bullish indicator.
I think, yeah. God. There's a huge problem with that.
Is it a problem?
I think it's a problem. Yeah. Like if someone does it of their own volition and they're fine with it, like I don't have a problem with it. But there is very manipulative sides to it.
I think maybe from the simp side, like, oh, I see, manipulative side. Yeah. Like I'm really supportive of sex workers in general.
Right.
But yeah, I think maybe when it comes to like really young people falling for.
Well, that's what I mean.
Stuff.
Like you get the example like the Twitch streamer. That's because we're not even talking about just regular like because it's okay. There's like a prostitute on the street, right? For example, just a random like it's like you know what the transaction is. Hopefully, like.
Well, when I was talking about simp economy, I was thinking more OnlyFans, which the presumption there is that everyone's over 18, so it's consenting, like even the buyers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, like, even with like people, I still like. Yeah, you could. I don't know what's the way to put it. I still think people even over the age of 18 can be very susceptible to manipulation when it comes to that type of thing. And I don't have a problem with people falling for that. Like if I don't know if you fall for that, it's that's on you. But at the same time, like I don't think it's a thing just to be completely ignored. Like,
yeah.
Like at least, and I would say not encouraged at least in terms of like, hey, don't be spending all your money on this person that like doesn't really care about you at all.
Okay.
They might care about you to an extent of like, oh hey, it's nice that someone's like helping fund something I like to do.
Well,
like a lot of that stuff gets like like for example, I don't know, you get like a Twitch one that was like, oh like I know it's a little bit different for Twitch situation, but like tier 3 sub obviously is a joke, but like they read your name out or something, right? And that means like a huge deal, and like
yeah,
and it comes back to the parasocial relationship thing, right? Like some of these people feel like they're really building up something with this individual, and it's like it's completely like not that at all.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential for that to go awry.
That's true.
Especially for more like gambling susceptible type people, like addiction type people, to end up spending a lot of money on those type of things.
That's true.
To me, it also reminds me of like a microtransaction, right? Whereas like, is there anything inherently wrong with microtransactions? No, but like a lot of times the way they're pushed is predatory.
Yeah. That's a good point. So I think
it's a problem for whales. I guess is the best.
I think maybe it's like not a positive thing for adults, but well, not necessarily a positive thing. But I think maybe what I was concentrating more on, like what I care more about when it comes to regulation of influencers is stuff that affects kids. Just because generally that's illegal to like influence kids with advertising. So like when I was thinking of the simp economy, I was completely like thinking of like 18 plus people where they can make their own decisions. Even if their brain isn't fully formed until they're 25 in most cases, like, legally they can make their own decisions. I don't know. Well, because I think of it transactionally, like it's, sex economy. People are making a transactional decision.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're talking in terms of like some like say regulation, I wouldn't think there'd be much regulation besides like obviously they have to be like of age. But besides that, like I'm not really worried about it from that angle. But from like and I'm definitely not worried about it from any sort of sex angle. Like I don't really care. Yeah. But it's mainly like I'd say some people definitely do it in a way that's like seems really predatory that I definitely wouldn't agree with.
I feel like
some people, because you do get plenty of cases of like like there's that one person that spends like for example, there's a Twitch streamer I knew, right? I know I know, like it's not the same thing as OnlyFans, but like this person that spent like almost upward of 1 million bits on this person.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, at a point it's like, it just seems like it's not necessarily even that, in that case it wouldn't be predatory, I wouldn't say, but more so that the person kind of falls into like an addiction type of thing with that.
Yeah.
And it would be hard, I guess, to know like when to cut it off at that point, because that's a difficult thing too, right?
Let's talk about addiction in a future episode. That would be a good episode, because that's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely see what you mean. So maybe that's something that on a platform level can be dealt with, like Twitch or OnlyFans maybe sets caps on how much money you can donate to someone.
I think OnlyFans did.
OnlyFans does, because one of the major celebrities abused the system.
Yeah, right. Didn't she lie about like what was going to be?
Yeah. Yeah. So they were like,
and that ruined it for like a lot of people, because a lot of people didn't have that problem. You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's something that companies can do to regulate that, and it's probably a good thing. Just like companies probably have an onus to regulate things related to addiction and
right.
compulsive behaviors of their users and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, I don't know. Like, the libertarian in me thinks that like we should leave this to individuals to figure out for themselves. Like just like with drugs, like I think that all drugs should be legal or decriminalized. And then
I would agree with that.
And then people will still struggle with addictions to things, but I think if there's no stigma from a criminal standpoint, then they're in a much better place to solve whatever problem that they have with it personally.
Right. Well, that's why that's why I don't really agree with the OnlyFans of like getting it restricted in terms, because you gotta think too, there's like there is just a possibility of like people that are more well off willing to spend their side money on it,
Yeah.
Isn't I mean there's definitely like not always the case for sure, but
yeah, because in addition to the simp economy, there's the sugar daddy economy. So
oh, have you heard about the femdom community?
The what?
Femdom?
Yeah. Is it like dominatrix kind of stuff?
No, okay, so it's like the woman berates you into like giving you money.
Yeah.
Or giving money. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've heard of it in general, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that rabbit hole, that's a deep rabbit hole, dude.
I think with consenting adults that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, but then it's like, dude, some of that stuff is like very clearly like this person has a problem. Like, and that's the thing too. I'm not saying like regulation in terms of like government stuff, but like in terms of societal, like, hey, we shouldn't be encouraging.
I think I think that would mean that like stuff like BDSM is also off the table as well. I think that these are not necessarily problems, just like drug addiction is not necessarily like
BDSM isn't like you giving all your life savings to someone.
So you're talking about financial domination specifically.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a market for it, I don't know. That's just the libertarian in me.
I guess FINDOM. Yeah, because I
FIN,
like FinDom.
Oh well, if that's what people want to spend their money on, I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe we have disagreements there. Then, like I do see that it can be problematic for the person that's spending the money. I
wouldn't recommend like government action at all.
Yeah.
So
okay, then we agree there.
Definitely like 100% on that. Like, but like in terms of like myself, like recommending it to people, right? Or like,
yeah,
I would actively encourage people not to do it.
Have you tried FinDom?
Right.
Give all your money away.
Because some people, I don't know, some of them seem like okay, because they're good enough to the fact that this person's like dominating with whatever aspect of it. But then it's like some of it is just so.
How did we go from influencers to BDSM?
Is that BDSM though?
Well, I mean,
I guess it is
related to it. Okay, let's talk about let's close by talking about the happy aspects of parasocial relationships.
Okay, there's a lot of cool stuff I've come across because influencers pointed out. I guess one of the more recent examples, because I just saw a video of it yesterday, because I keep up with the channel now. Charlie from Moist Critical,
Yeah.
showing off that Ordinary Sausage channel.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes the sausages. Now I watch like all his episodes.
Yeah. Well,
when I'm subscribed to him.
I was thinking. I was thinking more generally, like if someone's a positive influence, an influencer is a positive influence. Like, let's say, I'm trying to think, like Tom Scott. Tom Scott is a really good YouTuber. What's another example?
You mean more like it can affect like positive change in terms of like maybe like, for example, oh hey, there's this charity, like maybe, you know, like
you're inspired to be like them.
Oh, okay. So, okay. I can see some people like that. Like, there's a streamer I watch that's he's a Twitch partner, Majestic Graham, and like the dude just emanates like positive vibes. You cannot smile, or you cannot not smile. You know what I mean? Like, you have to smile when you end up watching his stuff for any like decent period of time, because it's just like he's just so bubbly and like genuinely like happy, a lot.
Yeah.
It's very I'd say check that guy out. Anyone?
Yeah.
But so stuff like that, I guess.
Jacksfilms.
Jacksfilms, yeah, and he's it's nice to point him out too, because he scratched a different type of itch. In terms of obviously he's pretty memey and stuff, but he's generally pretty cool about things.
Yeah.
He seems pretty obviously funny and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a problem. Like, my gut doesn't see a problem with, and I tend to trust my gut. It's usually pretty on point. But like, I don't see a problem with like having a positive parasocial relationship with like YouTubers that are positive. Like it's just nice to be like, oh, let me turn on my favorite, like Mac Does It. I'm going to turn on Mac Does It because I really like his content, or it makes me relax or something like that.
I don't see a problem with that, and I don't see a problem with like being a fan of any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, even to where you'd say I'm in the fandom. I try not to say I'm in fandoms of things usually, because like some fandoms suck like quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't even see a problem with that necessarily.
Yeah.
I more so if, like, as long as you don't put too much stock into like an influencer.
That's true.
For example, you'll get a lot of people that like, I don't know what's a good example. Like, say a certain person they watch makes new content, right? And they just get like really like toxic about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've seen that before. Mm-hmm. It's like someone tries to branch out to new content. They're just like, no, like,
yeah,
I've been watching you play Blues Clues finds clues for 10 years.
Yeah, I miss the old Kanye.
Exactly. Well, I mean, even saying I miss it is fine, but like when people get like toxic about that type of aspect is a problem. But so like, as long as people don't do that type of thing, like I don't have like, I think it's okay to like, I think it's healthy.
I wonder what the solution to that is. Like, just being frank with your audience and like course correcting whenever you see that and saying that's not okay. Do you think that's the best approach? Because I know I have to get better at that skill myself.
I think it depends on like what the audience is doing, right? It depends on what type of like, okay, let's say an example recently.
Jacksfilms and his wife.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You read my mind. See, like I don't think he's not going to make a big video about it. There's like, I don't, and he doesn't need to, because like most of the stuff is going to be like comments and like Twitter and YouTube. That's going to be it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Or like, okay, anyway, for anyone listening, recently Jacksfilms had a video with his wife in it.
Yeah.
And his wife's been having troubles recently in terms of like how she feels about her self-image in terms of her weight. A bunch of people were making fun of her in one of the latest videos of their Jackass series.
Yeah.
And so that made her feel really bad, and like he ended up privating the video.
Yeah.
At her request. And he made a Twitter post about it, telling people to unfollow and sub if they feel that way, and like, like berating those specific people that had done that. And I think that's a fair thing, especially because he's not too serious too much on his account, like, ever.
Yeah, that's the first serious thing I've seen.
Yeah, same. And so I think it's...
I'm glad he said what he said, though.
Yeah. because like that's an easy line in the sand to be like, hey, like, come on, guys, like, what is the point of that? Like, you guys are awful, the ones that are doing that.
Yeah.
There's nothing to gain from that. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be different, like, if you were harshly critical, especially of him. Like, if they'd been making fun of him, like, even if he felt bad, I don't think he would have made the post. But the fact that, like, it's affecting his wife.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, yeah, she decides to appear in the videos, but like, first of all, what does her weight have to do with anything? Like, at all? Like, even in a hypothetical scenario where she's like 400 pounds, like, who cares?
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything. It's not your business.
Yep.
Secondly, which she's not. She's not even close to that. I don't know her weight. But
Yeah,
like,
she looks great.
Like, I didn't see a problem with it.
Yeah. That was such a nice video too.
Yeah, I didn't get
such a shame.
See, I haven't watched any of the Jackass.
Yeah.
I probably need to. Like, those in the grammar sucks. I haven't watched either one of those. I watch and I watch the music skits, but
yeah, it was really cute. All the couple stuff.
Yeah, have you checked out that podcast they've done recently?
No, but I want to listen to it. I'm gonna add it to my list. Erin is the funny one.
I do like hearing her in the background of like certain ones.
This episode is sponsored by Erin is the funny one.
Right? But like, you know, during like Yais, for example, you'll hear her comments in the background sometimes, and like sometimes those are some of like the funniest comments of
she's really good at roasting him.
Or like there was the Yai Live one, and she had a couple like really good singers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point of that being like that I think that was a good time in which to step in and be like, hey, this is, especially because that was affecting them in their real life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that people do that. And like, I have this morbid curiosity whenever I see some like content that I suspect is going to have those kinds of mean comments. I like go and read them, but not in support of them. It's just the morbid curiosity part of me.
Yeah, I do.
I'm like, oh, I see something on Reddit. Oh, the comments are going to be interesting. That's for sure.
I will say that I was curious on like what the video was like once, you know, it's private, right? But then it's like I go to her like Twitter feed and like whatever had a screenshot of one of the video because she was talking about like she wasn't super confident, and then I see the screenshot and I'm like, is this really what people fucking freaked out over? Like, she's not. Like, I was expecting like more overweight. You know what I mean? Like, from the way like for a post like that, but she's not even. So it's like,
yeah.
Not to say it's not okay even if she was, but like, especially is like baffling to me that. Also,
we're talking about a current event that's going to be released and this video is going to be released in like 3 weeks after this is being said. So.
Right, but I did want to bring that up anyway as an example of like, you know, because you could choose any example. It's just that's a decent example of like what type of when it's like fine to jump out into like, oh, hey, don't do this. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, like, I don't know, if you see like a massive harassment campaign, maybe being like, hey, don't do that. Or see, that's the problem too. It's like, do you like, should they be expected to do that every time? I don't know. But at the very least, I'd say at the very least, you'd have to make like one very clear statement at some point of like, hey, don't ever like or go harass somebody because of me. Don't ever like that, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and not that they'll listen to you, but in the sense of like, hey, I don't support this at all. So if you support me, don't do this.
Yeah. It's definitely.
I don't want you to support me. Like.
Yeah, I'm bad at confrontation, so it's definitely something that I would struggle with, but it's something that I have to develop for sure.
I feel like it'd be easier in a situation like that because you're talking more to like the weird unknown conglomerate of people as opposed to like directly ask someone. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, if I was like, hey, don't be making jokes about, or, you know, don't be making fun of like, I don't know, my wife or whatever, right? Which I don't have a wife. I feel like it's
my
easier.
wife.
Yeah, my wife. It'd be easier than being like, hey, you, Dallas, don't you make fun of my mole or something. You know what I mean? Like, going someone specific is a bit more. Then you have to like, hey, because then there's a whole like singling someone out type of thing. Whereas opposed to if you're talking to like a, you know, conglomerate group of people, like if this doesn't apply to you, then don't even like worry about it.
Yep. Well, I think we've picked apart the subject of influencers pretty well.
Yeah, I would say so. Not a bad episode to return to.
Yep.
I was a bit worried because it's like, oh, we hadn't done it in a few weeks. Is this gonna?
Yep. And those that are only familiar with this channel, we were on another podcast channel, and we went ahead and split off just to kind of focus on different target audiences.
It made more sense to split this off into what it is now, and hopefully, hopefully you subscribe if you enjoy this content.
Yeah.
Especially, I know I said it earlier, definitely check out that other episode if you didn't.
Yep, Neuropod with Ryan Tanaka talking about Neuralink.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess that's all that can be said about influencers.
Well, yeah, until we get to the
influencers too.
Influencers too. Well, because what you said earlier, like we could as a separate episode, not necessarily the next episode, but something in the future. What was it?
What?
You're talking earlier about it.
About what? Addiction?
Yeah, addiction. That's what it was.
Oh.
Sorry, I couldn't think of the. Yeah, so as a future topic, maybe we'll come back a little bit to influencer with a. But we could save that for obviously a later episode.
Yep.
If if you're listening to this, suggest topics for episodes, and maybe we'll do them.
Yeah, definitely suggest them in the comments. Basically, we talk about anything that's like philosophy or technology or society related. It's random. We ramble about things randomly.
For random lengths of time. Woohoo. Be sure to randomly smash that like button.
And hit that notification bell.
Random into that subscribe button with the notification.
At this point, we're rambling, so we're going to stop. All right.